This is Mike and Ryan, and this is in Boscawen, New Hampshire, and their farm is called Phoenix Hill Farm, and it's a diversified permaculture homestead. This photo is the kitchen table of Eric Knutson and Kelly Coyne, who are urban homesteaders in Los Angeles and authors of the book The Urban Homestead, and recently another book they just finished is Radical Home Ec for a Post-Consumer World, and they're leaders in the urban homesteading movement. And here they're drying calendula that they grow on their homestead. I studied natural resource management and engineering in undergraduate school, and I've always been really interested in land issues. I've worked in several national parks, but always on the preservation or conservation issues, and not in agriculture, even though I went to an agriculture school. In 2007, I became really interested in the agrarian revolution that was happening in Bolivia and the reallocation of land to indigenous people there. So I went there and I spent 3 months documenting farmers in Bolivia. And then I came back here, and several years later, I realized that this same kind of agricultural renaissance was a similar agricultural renaissance was happening here, where people across the country were demanding the right to grow their own food and raise their own hens, even in urban places. So I started focusing on, about a year ago, I turned my focus to this agricultural movement and renaissance that's happening across this country. I find it really exciting because it's a very young movement, and the farmers that are a part of this movement don't necessarily come from a farming background, but have, because of the farm system, the broken farm system, and problems with conventional farming, have made decision to become farmers, to start CSAs, to begin homesteading. This is Eric Knutson and Kelly Coyne in the back of their homestead in Los Angeles. You can see the palm trees towering over in the back. They're holding one of their hens. In this new farming movement, this very young farming movement of people that are in their 20s and becoming farmers, it's been propelled by social media. Young farmers are Twittering and on Facebook and blogging and skill sharing and problem solving with each other via these social media, like these online forums. So how I found my subjects mostly was through these online forums. Is 2 chickens being buried by Pesha Jorgensen at the ranch on Sonoma Mountain, and the chickens were killed by bobcats. So 1 chicken was killed by a bobcat and 1 was severely injured. They had never killed a chicken before, so he Googled on his phone how to kill a chicken to figure out how to do it. And it's funny, I met other farmers who I told the story to, and they said that's what we did when we had to first kill our first chicken. We had to Google it or YouTube it. So it's another way that social media or technology has helped informed this movement and young farmers and helped them. Bale of hay on the front stoop of Eric and Kelly's house in Los Angeles. I liked how odd the hay seems on the concrete front porch. They also have a front orchard. They have a solar dehydrator on the roof of their garage. They have chickens and bees and a pretty big garden. They do a lot in a very small space. What it became was a survey of the young farming movement. It didn't start off like that. It wasn't my intention. I spent about 3 weeks on a ranch with two young farmers, and the more farmers I met, the more I realized that it was very much of a young women's movement and young couples who are making these decisions to farm and homestead and start urban rooftop farms and just everything. And so I really wanted to show that it's really this young movement across the country. It's not just in New York City that there are young women farming. It looks that way everywhere. And I think I was really just so impressed by these women that I met, who were single-handedly farming an acre of land and running a CSA and feeding 20 families. And I saw this happen again and again and again. This is a photo of Wenchia Parker in Mar Vista, California, with her daughter and one of her beautiful chickens. And Wenchia runs the composting program at her children's school. She's in the LA Master Gardeners program and also has written a book called Kids Can Compost. She's a very active gardening mom in the Mar Vista, Venice area. And she's also an architect. This is Ellie, and she helps run the Sonoma Mountain CSA. She studied sustainable agriculture at UC Santa Cruz with her boyfriend Balin, who also studied there. So now that's a major that's gaining popularity. More schools are, I think, introducing it, and I think the UC school systems have really great sustainable agriculture programs. And she's a really knowledgeable woman, knows a lot about farming. But she grew up in Los Angeles, not on a farm. And she's 27. This is a photo of Jennifer Walker, who keeps bees behind her brownstone on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And the day I went to photograph was the day she had just gotten 10,000 bees in the mail the day before, and she was dumping the new hive into, introducing all the new bees into the hive. It was awesome. This is Mike and Ryan surrounded by their pigs, some of their pigs, that roam pretty freely throughout their property, in the woods, up and down the hills, and they're feeding them. They're really resourceful about finding food for the pigs. They find donated food sources. This is the Eagle Street rooftop garden. Annie Novak is the farmer there, and they have really great educational and outreach programs. This is down the street from here. And a lot of people come out for her workshops and stand on the roof with this beautiful view of Manhattan and learn about farming or chicken keeping or bee raising or whatever it is. But they do a lot of really great educational programming. And it's really, really popular. If you look in the picture, you'll see that the crowd is very young. This is Quarter Acre Farm in Sonoma as well. And this is Andrea and Janet Ray. They're weeding together. This is Andrea's farm. She leases the land, as most young farmers do. Most young farmers can't afford to buy their own property, so they lease a small plot of land and farm there. This is Deborah Grieg. She's a farmer at East New York Farms, and she helps run the leadership program that teaches kids in the area how to farm, which is pretty awesome. And it's a really great program also. They actually pay the teenagers to farm as a job. This is a photograph of Rachel, who is a farmer at Lunita Farms, also in Sonoma Valley. Rachel leases an acre of land which she farms for her CSA. When I was there, they had 20 members, and it was growing. Her next season, I think, was close to double that. She's also 27 years old and graduated from Oberlin College. She didn't even study. I think she studied neuroscience at Oberlin.